Good evening. Welcome to Forge from Iron. Welcome to Transfer Talk Live, as Martin Tyler says. Little bit of a different twist on what we've been doing of late. Obviously, I've been doing my Transfer Talk where I'll usually have 2, sometimes 3 players that have been linked with us in the mainstream media, and I'll go through a few little bits and pieces, you know, some of their stats, their facts, their figures, pros and cons about the players, and ask you for your opinion, which obviously you guys give us on in the live chat, which we thank you for. But I thought I've slightly mixed it up a little bit. Now, this essentially is going to be, and I've got 2 guests waiting in the wings we're going to discuss. This is basically a program where we're going to discuss today players we haven't been linked with, but we think that the club might want to look at them. We'll get into that in a moment, obviously, but before we get started on that, my usual thing to start off with, please make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when it is uploaded. So, without further ado, I've got 3 people waiting in the green room. So, number 1 off the rank, Mr. Andy Miles, as I live and breathe, sir. How are you?
Even better for seeing your face.
There you go. There you go.
I'm
here to help.
No, I'm all good, mate. I'm really going to enjoy this weekend. Obviously, I'm the West Ham Fan TV party tomorrow, which I'm absolutely buzzing for to meet a few people. I think even a few people on this channel who are in the chat, I think, are going tomorrow. So if you are there, you know me. I probably don't know you by face, so come and say hello to me there tomorrow. And then, like I said, I've got the potential of going to the game on Sunday, which I'll find out shortly. So happy days.
Yeah, I mean, it's gutting that obviously the timing of all this from my schedule, it's just not going to happen because obviously I'll be other places in this country of ours. But it is what it is. Just having a look in the live chat, we've got Walshies in the building. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. And we've also got Gaza. Gaza, hope your day's gone well. Okay, we've got 2 others waiting in the wings. Let's get this one in. This scoundrel, here he is. Mr. Jas, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Very well.
Good man, good man. You loaded up with rum?
I was trying to be good, but I thought I'd just have one and not go for the second one if I can.
What rum did you choose?
Oh, I'm back in stock with Bacardi, mate. That's why I'm smiling.
Fair enough.
Like a kid in a sweet shop.
Back in stock.
He is. That's it. We got the last one to come in off the bench, but by no means least, ladies and gentlemen, it's our old chum, West Ham Online. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Andy on what I saw on Twitter this week, the success of his diet as of late. It's going very well, as I saw on Twitter. So I thought I'd congratulate him here.
He's not the man he used to be.
Pardon?
I say he's half the man he used to be.
Yeah. And I'd also like to congratulate David Sullivan for his brilliant business so far this window with a total of 1 signing.
Yeah, and that wasn't even a permanent. Let's not forget that. That's a loan.
And that took weeks to get over the line, if you remember. That went on for ages as well. Yeah. That's with everything.
Yeah.
But this is a positive show, gents. Come on.
Yeah. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, and we want you guys in the live chat to get involved as well. As I say, basically the premise of this, like I say, is we're taking 2 players that we have not been linked with, which I know we've been linked with virtually everybody, or at least it seems that way. But we're gonna pick 2 players each that we've not been linked with in this transfer window. We might have been linked with him in previous windows, but not in this one. That we think could come into the club in this transfer window, and we're going to make the case for why we think that they're feasible, why we think that they would be a good fit for the squad as it stands at the moment. Which one of you gentlemen want to go first? This is we don't have a script, so we're just gonna. Anybody want to be the first one to put their hand up and be the
me.
Jas?
Me, sir, please, sir.
Sit down, boy. Sit down.
Detention.
Where's the old blackboard rubber? I'll chuck it at your head.
But sir,
You're probably too young to remember anything like that, isn't he, Jazz?
Yeah.
No.
Those are the good old days. Yeah.
The only pedo I remember now is Rolf Harris. Do you know what it is yet?
Yeah, I've got a few stories. There, but, can't tell them on there though.
Yeah, we'll have to leave that one there. We'll have a chat afterwards after a few rums. Jazz, 2 players that we've not been linked with in this transfer window, and you need to make a case. Mr. Brown, no, come on. Something a little bit more up to date, for goodness sake.
Quite feisty, them too, in their time, aren't
they? Are we doing one each? Are we doing one each and going around, or are we just going to do... Jazz is going to do one each and go around?
I'll tell you what. Do one, then do the other one. We go round again. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, fine. Jazz, your first player. Who would be, if you was David Moyes / David Sullivan, you're looking at the squad pretty threadbare and looking for ahead of a European campaign, a domestic campaign. The squad was already thin last season. It's even more thinner this. What are you going to do? Who are you going to bring in but someone out of left field? Make a case.
Yes, it's quite tricky question because we've been linked with over 100 players. And this person I've chosen, he's very young. He's 22, 23. He's played in the Premiership, not for long, but he has. Very strong lad. One for the future, being talked about since his teenage days. His team got relegated. And I'm picking him because if we don't buy him now, I don't think we're going to get another chance. And I think Arsenal are very, very closely monitoring the situation. And that Sandenberg of Sheffield United is the one.
I thought you was going to say Ramsdale to add another goalkeeper.
Yeah, God, that'd be full 11 there nearly. Oh God. Yeah, because I followed him quite a bit, and I mean he's used a lot largely in 2-3 positions. He's a holding defensive midfielder, so if we needed cover for Rice or Souček, he's available. He's a right back, and he can play as a centre back, one of 3. One of 2 might be difficult, but I think certainly when you're playing 3 at the back on the right side, he's capable. He's got really good height, long legs, good engine on him, and I think if we get him in, all right, 20-25 million, he'll be worth a lot more in the future. And if we are, which I think Rice will be gone next season, we've got a ready replacement, really, who can step into Souček or Rice's sort of place, and he'll grow with us. He's got time to grow, improve over David. He's got very good... he's a good lad, I've been told. He works hard, and he's kept his... And you can see that because look at Sheffield United, and not once have we heard he's put in a request or he's complaining about anything. You know, he's just waiting for someone to kind of bringing him. And I kind of like Scandinavian players. I think they're always hardworking. They're strong individuals. They often hit the ground running in their league, you know. So Sandenberg, yeah, purely for age, potential, all those things I said, Premiership experience, different positions. If Rice goes and we get Sandenberg for 25-20, then Rice will get 100 and we don't have to worry that, it's going to cost us 80 million to cover for Rice. Obviously, a player up to Rice's ability, you're not going to find anywhere. But I think Sandenberg is a good lad, and he'll do well in that position for us. I think, yeah. And Arsenal are after him, and if we don't grab that window, then not sure if we're able to get him again. I think, yeah.
You've made a very good case for getting Sandenberg through the door, and obviously he was someone that was linked around the time that we actually ended up signing Thomas Souček. And you got to say that on balance, actually, for us, it worked out quite well. But if we sort of obviously fast forward to now, and you're advocating getting Sandenberg in through the door, why do you think that we haven't been linked with this guy?
I think it's always a case of we haven't got enough money to buy the 5-6 we need, so we always buy the 2 that we can. It's simple as that. I mean, if you could bring in a reasonable amount of money and we could bring in 3-4, he would come in. But every time we brought people like Bowen or Souček or Foul, our funds have been very limited. and it's been the case for the manager to say, worst case, what do I need more? He'd love to bring him in, but he can't. So it's always juggling around who he could get. And I think Sandenberg cost, he was more than Souček, more than Kufal, more than Bowen. Sheffield United put down a lot of money for him. He was about 20-odd million, I think, a little bit more. I think that's the reason is that we're always, even now, look how many players we need, but we're only going to bring in 2, 3 that we can afford. And then the 3 that we want, they'll go back in the queue again. I think it's just a case of, it doesn't mean the player's sort of bad. It just means he went for a little bit more money than we wanted to outlay at that time, which is always the case with us, I think. Yeah. And if you remember when Sandenberg went to Sheffield United, we were all saying, look how ambitious Sheffield United are better than us, blah, 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 all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. No, some good points eloquently made. Just before we sort of go, sorry, carry on, Milesy.
No, I was going to say I watched him play on Saturday night, Sheffield United, Birmingham, and he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Brilliant.
He was unreal. The one thing is, what I didn't realise, West Ham, and you'll probably agree with me, is how quick he is for a big man.
Yeah.
Like, he can run with the ball. Like, literally, he just runs through them as well. He was getting fouled after fouled. Very lucky they didn't get a penalty. In my opinion, I thought the ref got that wrong as well. He's physical, and if we needed to beef up the midfield, I'm just giving an example, like a Man City or someone. I know we've got Fornells who's like a little Jack Russell, but if you had Berge, imagine Berge, Souček, and Rice as a 3.
Yeah.
Right, going across as a 3 in the midfield. That would be.
Well, they wouldn't. A minute, there'd be Rottweilers, 3 of them. It'd be a nightmare for any opposition. Yeah.
Mm. Before we sort of move on, just this comment from Jay Woods. This is not a name that's familiar to me, and I haven't seen this particular link to us. Is any of you guys familiar with Delort, a striker from Montpellier?
I think we were linked with him in January, and I think he's okay, but he's not brilliant. If I'm honest, I wouldn't really want him.
What is he? A big lad? Is he a little lad? What type of player is he?
We were linked with 2 strikers from that team, so I'm not sure which one it is. One of them.
I'll have a little look while we're talking. I'll just have a look and see what thing he said.
There was a fellow. What was it? Gaetan Laborde.
Yeah, that was the other one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we was linked with him in the January transfer window, and I looked into him, and I think he's about 28, 29. His record's okay. Nothing mind-blowing, but
29.
No, he's just said he's an Algerian international, Delort, so it's not Gaetan Laborde then.
Yeah, Andy Delort, I've seen.
Okay.
Centre forward, 1.82 metres. Transfer market rate him at 14.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm just looking now at his goal scoring record while we're here. 1 second, if you don't mind.
Anyone know what nationality?
We're doing. He's Algerian, according to Jay Woods. Algerian.
Yeah, Algerian.
So he's a teammate of Ben Rama, then, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last year, 34 appearances, 19 goals, and 10 assists.
Mhm.
That is bloody good going. Bloody good going.
Yeah.
I'm always skeptical of that league, though. I don't know about you, but
I
he's improving. But
I don't know. I think
he can only score against the team that are in front of him, can't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Sacco came from the 2nd division, didn't he? And Batshuayi hasn't gone nuts, but Lacazette came from there. I think a lot of good strikers come from there. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Americans and Canadians go there. Jonathan David is one of them, Canadian. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. He's only 21, but we would never be able to afford him. But we should be able to afford him, but we don't. But there's a couple of other players. The one who springs to mind for me, who I would absolutely love at West Ham, is still Dembele from Lyon. I've always wanted him when he was at Celtic and even Fulham, but I can't see that happening either.
How much is he rated at now? He must be
25 million, I think.
Oh, hang on.
He hardly
That's
played last year.
That's surely within our price range, and if we can't afford 25 million quid for a striker, something is badly wrong. I would suggest.
Oh, I think something is badly wrong. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of David Sullivan more than anything else.
Does anyone know whether it's still the case with Barcelona where players like Aguero, Depay, they're still waiting to be signed?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's crazy. So they're available, aren't they? And I heard Aguero was fuming about Messi leaving. He was absolutely went mad. I think about that, felt let down and all that kind of thing went on. But then I forgot that Poch at PSG is Argentinian and Messi goes, that was a big thing. I know him so many years. And I don't think Messi's the cleverest when it comes to learning languages. So perhaps that was something with him. All the Argentinian players, they all struggle with language, even though Aguero, he can string
Pablo Zabaleta.
Oh,
Pablo Zabaleta did all right, but Tevez, I don't think spoke much English, and he was here for a good few years.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think Lanzini's is great either, but
yeah, I don't want to be bad, but I think out there, it's a difficult world. I don't know if they go to school properly, but football's their life, and if they make it, changes the world. I think it's a lot to do with that. But then it shouldn't be. If they're picked up early, I'm sure like Messi at 15, Barcelona would make sure that he been to school, got basic schooling and stuff like that. But there you go.
Apparently, Sergio's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Ken's saying.
I think he chucked himself down the stairs after.
Which Sergio is this?
Aguero.
Sergio Aguero.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Yep. Would you like me to go next?
Right. So.
Yeah, go on.
I was just about to say, West Ham Online, your first pick of a player that we've not been linked with in this transfer window, but you think that we ought to be.
Okay, this shout is a bit of an outlandish one in terms of I'm not even sure myself if he'd be good value for money, but I think for the moment it's an easy addition. The reason why I say that it's an outlandish one as well is because he is 30 years old, so he's in his prime, he's getting on a bit, but then again, Lukaku's getting on a bit as well. If at this point in time, I'd take any striker. I'm going for Luis Muriel from Atalanta. His stats are quite frankly ridiculous, and he is available at a cut price, I've heard, because he doesn't get the minutes he wants at Atalanta, which I find strange. He's basically a super sub for them half the time. Despite him scoring 28 goals last season, he averaged a goal every 60 minutes. Just getting a stat up now on Twitter as well.
That is crazy, especially in a defensive league like Serie A.
Yeah. So I've got his percentiles up here. Last season, Luis Muriel, goals per 90, 1.25. That's in the top 99 percentile of strikers in the world. Non-penalty goals, 99 percentile. Dribbling, 99 percentile. Passes into the penalty box, 99%. Basically, in almost every stat, progressive passes, everything. Even if you care about nutmegs, he's there. He's in the top 99 percentile for strikers. And you might be thinking, because he scores a lot of goals, he's probably a substitute penalty box striker. That's not true either. Per 90 minutes, he averages 62 touches, which is incredible, literally incredible for a striker. Some of our midfielders don't even get that. So yeah, his stats are genuinely crazy good.
Again, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jas after he gave his case for the defence, if you will. Why do you suspect that, despite what Muriel brings to the table, what his skill set is, why do you think it is he's not been linked with us? Is it as simple as, they would want more money than we would be prepared to spend, or do you think that there's another reason?
I don't think that. I just don't think our scouting department is not smart enough to see players like this. I think if Brentford had the money for him, they'd definitely go for him, because I don't know if you know, but Brentford are all stats based, so they don't look at play style or anything like that. They base it all on...
Is that the Moneyball system, isn't it? Is that the one?
Yeah. And Luis Muriel stats, as I say, it's not just goals. His progressive passes, his distribution, his dribbling even. If you care about nutmegs, he's got nutmegs. He's in the top 99 percentile for all of these things.
Fair enough.
Simon, what did they shit on?
Oh God, that brings me back to when that incident when somebody claimed that they
Irish
sat
Tommy's in
themselves
the
alive on
house.
there.
Irish Tommy.
He might have a point. He might have a point.
Probably not.
He may never. He might be that he's never. He probably never heard of him until last Saturday when they played each other.
Yeah, he even came on then. Didn't even start.
I was only playing. Simon.
It's all right, mate. It's only banter. So, okay. Thanks for that, West Ham Online. So, Milesy,
Hello, sir.
You've got two players that we haven't been linked with, but you think we should have been. Go.
Yeah, 100%. He's an actual recent European champion. He won the Euros as well. Featured very well. He actually had a very good final as well for Italy, and that is it plays in the Premier League, but he has been out on loan, and that is Chelsea left back Emerson.
This fella.
Yeah. I've always liked him. I'm not going to lie. I've always been a big fan of him, and he sort of went under the shadows of your Ashley Coles and stuff like that. Not that he was there when Ashley Cole was there, but he sort of had that "you're not Ashley Cole, you're not good enough" sort of attitude, in my opinion. And in my opinion, he should have been starting ahead of Marcus Alonso. Great delivery of the ball. And yeah, I just think he would be a good addition to the squad. Can also play left midfield as well, so he could potentially do what Masuaku does and sit in front of Creswell and support him. Because for last year for Chelsea, he only played 15 games and scored 1 goal, and only 2 of them were in the Premier League. So it's amazing that a player of his quality hardly plays, in my opinion. And obviously in the Euros, he was heavily involved. In a lot. He was on the bet. He played 4 out of the 7 games, and played 118 minutes. So including 100. Sorry. In total, he played 118 minutes against us, against England in the final as well. So I don't know about you boys, whether you've seen him play or you think he'll be a good addition. And according to the transfer market, he says he can play centre back as well in a free.
Can he?
I missed it. It's not a very Italian name, is it, Emerson?
I think he's Brazilian by birth, a bit like Jorginho.
Yeah.
And where's he been on loan, Milesy? Where's he been on loan?
I'll just get it up now, mate. 2 seconds. He's been on loan to Italy. I think it's Roma.
Just
but yeah,
whilst you're cogitating that, if this from Paul is correct, and I've got no reason to doubt him because he's saying it's shown on the account, that is scandalous.
It's true.
That is absolutely scandalous. Jesus.
It's depressing, isn't it, when you think about him. But
Makes
yeah,
you
no,
realise
we played.
what a shitstorm's going on behind the scenes.
No, so actually, tell a lie, gents. He's actually been at Chelsea. He's not been out on loan. So he's been at Chelsea since 2018, and he's played about 30 games since 2018.
He's been out on loan a couple of times, though, hasn't he?
Not according to this.
Really? Because I was going to say, because Chelsea are normally quite sort of like prolific in getting people out on loan.
No, he hasn't, mate.
Wiki, Andy, it might be on there.
But yeah, it's mad. But so in his whole career, so he's 27. Yeah. So he's still at a good age. He's only played 146 games for club.
That's nothing. Good God.
So that's what that's why we were sort of saying with Lingard. He's the same as Lingard. Lingard's only played, I think, just close to 200, and he's at 28. So it's not like a Rooney, for example, where they've played probably 3 times more than that at that age. So he'll probably play on for longer because he's not really knackered his body out. I haven't looked in the comments yet. I don't know whether anyone else has said anything. Or what about you, West Ham Online? Do you think he'd be a good addition?
Yeah, I think he would be. The only thing is, I think at times he's a tiny bit defensively suspect. But if we're playing the the three at the back, which Moyes often likes to play, I think he'd be perfect. And I don't presume that he's much worse defensively. Well, I don't presume. I know he's not much worse defensively than Creswell is. So I think he'd be an upgrade, and I think he's a very good player, especially on the ball. And as you say,
has he got pace? And how old is he?
Yeah. Pace. He's got a
How
lot
old
of
is
pace.
he?
27.
27, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree with Andy in the fact that I think he's better than Marcus Alonso. I'm not a big Alonso fan. I think he just scores a few goals a year, doesn't really defend well, and suddenly he's in the team. But yeah, Emerson, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Just looking at a comment here from Irish Tommy, do you think that possibly his wages might be a stumbling block to getting this guy through the door?
It depends. Depends if he wants to play football.
I've got no idea what he's on. I've got no idea what he's on.
But if he doesn't want to play football, then I don't want him at the club. If we inquire for him, do you want to come and play for West Ham? Yes, then I'll back him. If he's stumbling about wages, then do one.
Do you remember, Gatesy, we were discussing why we can't get any Chelsea players over the line? There's something going on, isn't there? Do you remember? We linked with so many that don't want to come. Or the comments today, Zuma goes, I'm not happy with the way they've approached me. So God knows what's going on with the Sullivan's team out there.
I've got no idea, mate. The mind boggles. I mean, this has been such a frustrating window. I mean, and you said it on your recording that you did this morning that we put out on the channel, and you have said all along that you'll judge the transfer window once the transfer window is shut. But even now, you're getting to the stage where with the news yesterday coming out, Milenkovic deal has hit the buffers, and it looks like that's dead in the water. And now you've got to the point where you feel it necessary to make it known your thoughts on what's going on, or not, as the case is more.
It's one of the reasons I didn't go to the Atlanta game. It's bad because I wanted to show respect to the team last year, say thank you. But I just thought for one striker like Daka making his debut, I would have gone. My whole family would have gone to see him. And it's just, transfers mean a lot to me as a kid. It's the thing I used to love, picking up the papers. But that's why I have a go at Harry. But one of the things I used to love Harry was he was always after a player, and I used to love it. I love players joining us.
It was a revolving door he had going.
Yeah, but you just get excited when they hold the shirt up and you see him for it's just football's all about, really. But
Jas,
Hearts and kits and signing.
Oh wow, what a day that was!
I can still see a player if he isn't in the squad, a player will be represented to the fans on the Leicester game, at least.
I remember watching three people make their debut under Lou Macari. So Ian Bishop, Trevor Morley, Jimmy Quinn, I think. So I saw three people make their debut at home. I remember Martin Allen's debut, and it just lifts the whole team. Doesn't matter how good you've been. You see a player better than you walk in the dressing room, it lifts everyone.
I remember Dean Ashton's debut. That was amazing.
I don't know if you know that who Daya is, who's been on Jake's show a couple of times.
Oh, we know Daya.
God, I'm sorry. Seems like a nice guy, but transfer-wise, he's been making it up as far as I'm concerned. He said Milenkovic had a medical this week, and we had a medical for a striker. He's changed the date about 3 times, and neither seem to be. I think he's just made it up to try and get some clicks there. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully, Daya addresses that because the medical is probably for Antonio's hamstrings, not a striker.
I tell you, from little bits I was watching last night's show, I found someone who drinks more than me on the show. So well done, mate. he was struggling, wasn't he?
The only thing I'd say to sort of give Daya a little bit of credit is, if his information is that XYZ is happening and then something tips up in negotiation, sort of like between when he got that information and the time that the medical was meant to have happened, which was meant to be Tuesday, Wednesday this week, there's not a lot he can do. If he's given it that information in good faith, he can only report it as he's given it. As I say, I don't know the conversations that have taken place. I'm playing, I'm trying to defend him. I'm trying to sort of play devil's advocate a little bit.
If that is true, then his source must be Tom and Jerry, because I've not heard one thing about us having a medical apart from his mouth.
From my understanding,
and
though,
as Simon says, he does. Sorry, Miles. He, in fairness to him, he does actually say, he said it on more than one occasion, that he does say he's not in the know. So, I'll give him a little bit of credit there.
With regards to Milenkovic, though, from my understanding, even X said it on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everything was agreed.
Yeah.
So if everything was agreed, and they're probably thinking medical next day, and then this fucking agent has been the arsehole. He's sort of told the truth, but he hasn't, isn't he? As well, that's the thing I will say on it. And he said Origi's 93% done, and I actually believe him on that. I think Liverpool are probably trying to bring someone in. Oh. And once that happens, that will happen. I think.
Yeah, good news I heard on that one. Klopp's got to get rid of someone before bringing someone in, so that will speed it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's a bit fishy. The striker part, especially, was the one for me where he changed the date a couple of times, and I don't think anyone had heard of a striker being close up. I think the team, Moyes and Pearce and everyone else and Sullivan, have forgotten that we only have Antonio up front. I mean, if his hamstrings go, we're going to have Andy up front next season.
Andy Miles.
Once he's lost a few more pounds, I reckon he'll be able to get around the pitch. I reckon he'll be quite mobile once you've. Have you got a target weight, Milesy? Have you sort of said, I want to get to?
Yeah, I have, and my body fat percentage go down. I think I'm going to look like Akim Fenwa by the time I'm done.
Hold up, man. Target man.
Do you know what? About a month ago, I went and repaired his washing machine.
I know, he said, wasn't he? He's massive, isn't he? He's a unit.
He came wandering into the kitchen, right? His missus let me in, and he came wandering into the kitchen. He went to the fridge. I turned around, and I'm like, "That's Adebayo Akin Fenwa." Sort of thing, And he came along, and I was it wasn't. Was it a washing machine? No, it wasn't. It was the washing machine, but the dishwasher.
You're deep inside his washing machine.
And he comes along. He says, "I'll give you a hand with that, mate." And he sort of he just comes in. He grabs hold of the dishwasher, and I turned around and said, "Do you need a hand with that?" And then I sort of stopped myself and I went, "What a stupid question I'm asking." And he looked at me and went, "Don't worry, mate. It's all smoke and mirrors in my game." So, but he was a nice enough guy, but. Right, so I guess it's over to me now. So, okay, right. I've got a player.
Thanks, Simon.
I'll quickly address what Simon just said. He said what my thoughts are on Messi to PSG.
Go on, then.
Just quickly, Simon, I think it's... I wish he stayed at Barcelona rather than going to PSG. I think they're an oil money club that are building an unrealistic FIFA 22 super team. Yeah, I don't want to see it. I would rather.
Can't really say that they're too far removed from Barcelona, though, can you? Though West Ham Online. I mean, Barcelona is 95% of their income or turnover. I can't remember what it was. They said on the radio is going on player wages. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they've
that's why they're in the shit they're in.
Yeah, they pay Griezmann 800k a week and Dion 400k a week. I mean, that sums it up.
Basically, the government.
Tony, we'll see, mate. I hope you're right, Tony. But I've heard so many things about Milenkovic edging closer. As I said to Milesy before we hit record, I'll believe it when he's holding up a claret and blue shirt at London Stadium with David Moyes stood next to him. If it happens, great. But I've kind of lost a little bit of not interest, but I've just lost a little bit of enthusiasm for the deal, quite frankly. We'll see what happens. Right. My first player. Now, this is a player that, to the best of my knowledge, has not been linked with us in this transfer window, but I think that he ought to be. So he ticks a number of boxes for me. He's 20 years of age. So he is still in, he's on the upward trajectory. Tick. He's got Premier League experience. Tick. He's an international that played at the Euros. Tick. He can play centre-back. Tick. He can play defensive mid. Tick. His parent club want to loan him out this season. Tick. He's only got 2 years left on his contract at his parent club, which means that he could be prime candidate for doing a Sullivan special, loan with an option to buy, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Ethan Ampadu.
Ethan Ampadu. I look at this kid and I think this should be someone we should be looking at, guys. You know, all of those things going for him. He in last season in the Premier League, let's just look at that. He was on loan from Chelsea to Sheffield United. Now, all right, Sheffield United got relegated. You can't pin that on a 20-year-old kid as he was then, right? But 38 games in the Premier League. He was in the squad 29 times. He was in starting 11 23 times. He came on as a substitute twice, and he was an unused substitute 4 times. He had 3 matches he missed due to injury. The last 5 games of the season, and this was after the 1-0 win against Brighton. No, sorry. The 1-0 win against Brighton where he was on the bench. The rest of the season, he was not in the squad. Reading between the lines, I suspect that that's probably because if he'd have been in the squad one more time, Chelsea would have probably been due another wedge of money. But I look at Ethan Ampadu and I think, right, we're after a centre-back, but we also need someone to cover Declan Rice and Thomas Soucek. Well, he can do that. As I say, he's 20 years of age, so he's still someone that's got an awful lot of scope to improve. He's an international. He's actually English born. Although he represents Wales, he was actually born in Exeter, and he could have also represented the Republic of Ireland, and I think it was Ghana. So, you know, and he's like I say, he's just played in a major international tournament. So this is a kid that's got, even at his tender age, he's got an awful lot of experience to fall back on. And I just think, like I say, 2 years left on his current deal. His parent club, I saw a report yesterday, which is why I thought of him. I was like, yeah, you know, they want to loan him out. Sullivan's the specialist of loan with an option to buy. Perfect. What say you, ladies and gentlemen?
I like him, mate. We were sort of discussing it earlier, weren't we? On pros and cons and multiple positions again. And I think that they're crucial now. Players who can fit in, feel comfortable.
What's his stats for the Premiership last season? Anyone know what he played? Goals, assists, anything like that? Do we?
Goals? I don't think he scored any.
I thought that.
I don't think he scored a goal. But yeah, Sheffield United were, you know,
that was the worst.
There's not really a fair. Yeah, 20. Never scored a goal, but I'm not being funny. A centre back, that's not their primary concern, is it? Let's be honest about it. You know. So you know, but like I say, he's still got an awful lot of scope to improve. This is the sort of player that we should be getting. You know, we should be trying to get players that maybe not quite getting the chance. But I mean, look at Chelsea. Look at the players they've got in the positions that he plays. He's not got a chance of getting through them realistically, has he? But he'd have half a chance with us.
Yeah, I mean, if he fits the bill of David Moyes, it's fairly strong, quick, hard-working, good character, then good chance, isn't it, getting him?
I mean, Reese likes it. Any of you others in the chat that thinks Ampadu would be decent? I mean, I think it's realistic because, as I say, 2 years on his contract, they want to loan him out. Why not? It's not like we're signing someone unrealistic. You know, I don't think his wage would be prohibitive. I don't think that his transfer fee would be prohibitive. I think it's a realistic proposition.
Has any other club been linked with him so far? Do you know?
No, in this article that I read yesterday, which is what made me think of this, all it said was that I think there was 2 players that Chelsea had specified that they wanted to loan out for next season, and Ampadu was one of them. And as I say, as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, why not us? Why not us? I know you said about Chelsea, you know, there seems to be this little bit of a schism between us and you know, Chelsea for whatever reason, business not getting done, whatever. Let's see, you know, test the waters, put in a bid. And like I say, even if it's a loan with an option to buy, they want to loan him out. They're on record as saying they want to loan him out. Well, he's already tested himself at Premier League level, and I think he held his own in a very poor Sheffield United team. Why would you loan him out to a Championship team now? Makes no sense. So you're going to have to loan him out to a Premier League team. Surely he's going to want that, because he's going to sit there and say, I think I've done myself justice as a Premier League player. Why should I go down a level?
Yeah, I've just got to be careful. We can only loan two, isn't it? We were discussing the other day. We can have to work that way.
It depends though, Jazz, because the money, I know financial fair play, they say don't come into it, but Chelsea have got to be careful with their books as well, because the money they've just spent on Lukaku, I know Abraham's going out the door, but I can see Barkley coming out to try and settle the books as well, and I don't think he'll be on a lot of dough either. I know he's at Chelsea.
I like Barkley, but his loan spell at Villa, I don't know what happened. It was not very good, and that's why Villa didn't even keep him. I don't know what happened to him. He's up there, so I'm not sure what happened to him. And that's cost him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Words and pictures. I think that it will probably, if it was to come to pass, I think it would, and I think it would make sense for both sides. But as I say, I don't want it to be like a Jesse Lingard situation where we don't have anything definitively saying, okay, at the end of the loan period, provided he's reached certain targets and all the rest of it in terms of starts, in terms of minutes played and all the rest of it. For me, I would want something in the loan agreement, if we did it as a loan to begin with, that says, right, he is available for this amount of money, rather than the Lingard situation where there was no option to buy or anything like that. And at the end of the loan deal, it's like everyone just sort of like, well, what happens now? So I think a loan deal would be sensible, but I wouldn't be averse to just going in, slapping some money on the table and saying, I tell you what, we'll take him off your hands. What's your thoughts, West Ham Online?
Yeah, I think he's a decent player. I think he's definitely back up for Europe. I think he has decent potential. I wasn't too impressed with him last season, but as you say, every player in the Sheffield team looked terrible. So from what I saw of him when he was at Chelsea, he looked really good. And the loan that he had before that. The other thing is Chelsea fans rate him really highly. I remember when, quite deludedly, but still shows how highly they rated him, when they were claiming he's better than Rice. I think I nearly threw it up in my mouth when I saw them comments, but nevertheless, it shows how much
taking it a bit far
impressed for him when he's played.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously at Chelsea at the minute. He went on loan to Leipzig about 2 seasons ago. Yeah,
that was it.
Only played 3 matches, but Yeah,
he wasn't he at loan at them before as well? Didn't he have 2 loans there, or am I?
No, he according to this, his career has been, he started at Exeter and then he went to Chelsea, and since he's been at Chelsea, he's had a loan spell at Leipzig and a loan spell at Sheffield United. He's got an under-16 cap for England, and then 17s, 19s, and full internationals. He's got caps for Wales.
Oh, okay, right. Okay. Yeah, I think he's a decent player, though, as I say, and I want him.
And still plenty of room to improve. It's not like he's 32, 33, is he?
No.
Sorry, gents, if I won't.
That's my case for him.
I've just got my ticket. I've been messaging someone. They got me a ticket, so that's why I've been listening. But, so I'm going St James's Park on Sunday now.
He's off to St James's Park. He's up in the gods, but he don't care.
Big news,
mate. I am thoroughly jealous. Jealous. I'll be at the other end of the country, but
me and Gatesy are both going Cornwall tomorrow. That is brilliant.
We're not. Well, I should stress, we only found out when we
No, you're not going together.
No.
You're not going together.
No. we only found out literally an hour ago when we was talking on the phone, didn't we, West Ham Online?
Yeah,
and he turned around to me and said, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go to Cornwall," and I'm like, "I'm going Cornwall tomorrow." And we were sort of like talking and discussing where we were going, and West Ham Online seems to think that he might not be a million miles away from where I am. So that would be really spooky if he's on the same holiday park as me. I'd be like, "Are you stalking me or something?" So we'll see. I said if we are, I'll get him a shandy.
There's been an update with Milenkovic. Apparently, the agent fees have now been resolved or in a much better place. And the transfer saga looks done.
I'll believe it when it's actually happened.
Yeah, everything's agreed. They got no
the fax
pen.
machine.
Yeah, that's broken down. They got no pen. They can't find a pen.
It's all been done by pigeon post. They're sort of like carrier pigeon.
All the shops are closed. Reception's gone home. So tomorrow we'll look for a pen tomorrow. And in the meantime, another club is coming.
Oh dear. Right. So that's one player each. Who did we start with? We started with you, didn't we, Jas?
Yeah.
He's had time to think now. He's other player.
No, this player has
come
been
on.
linked with me for 3 years, so there's no surprises I'm going to mention. I mean, it's still tricky, this thing, because obviously you've got to find a player we haven't been linked with. You've got to find a player you know something about, and there's so many players, so many leagues, so many countries. We don't have time to kind of study everyone. So he's a type of player that we need. I think he's 26, 27. He's been in the Premiership for a while. Played for a London team, so he's okay with the area, got a house there. He's a bit of a bastard like Arnie, and we always need one of them, I've been told by a lot of fans. He's a regular international. He's the number one striker and contributes a lot, scores a lot of goals.
Ticking a lot of boxes.
Takes penalties. He's a penalty taker. The club he's with, he's been relegated with twice, and he's never gone out really and complained about it. In fact, he played in the Championship with him, and I felt a player of his standard shouldn't have played there, and he kept quiet. And then last year, he didn't play as much as he should. I think something happened between him and the manager.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, lots of things that are good, and yeah, we do need a physical body up there, and he's very happy with one up front. So in the 4-2-3-1 system, I think he could do it, run the channels, hold it up, be a nuisance, head it. So it's Mitrovic, yeah. I've been linked with him for 3 years now, and we've not been linked with him. Quietly, what I have heard is that Roma were linked with him, but Fulham want 20-25 million for him. So I think it's an easy move. He knows the league. He lives in London, and I trust him. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay, especially as a backup. And he won't complain being a backup. He's not that type of character. He used to get sent off a lot at Newcastle. I know that. A lot of yellow cards. Hopefully David can knock a little bit out of that game, but you don't want to knock it out too much, because I like a bit of toughness in him. You know, he's got that in him that the West Ham fans are like. He really gets into the centre backs, like the old 1970s, 80s people used to. And he really if you remember, didn't he have a clash with Ogmana, didn't he, last year? Didn't they? They've had a face-off, didn't they? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mitrovic for me, lads. I think it's not much of a risky move for me. So, going with
How long has he got left on his Fulham contract? Does anybody know?
I'll look now, mate.
I'll quickly say...
I'd be interested to know what... Yeah.
Quickly, before during the Mitrovic conversation, Wildstone Raider said what was the source. It was...
the source, yeah.
For Milenkovic, it was Fabrizio Romano. He's probably the most reliable source on earth, according to some people, but I'm not a big fan. And the other thing he asked is, who is Daya? He's the human version of Pinocchio.
Now. Let's not go down that road, West Ham online. Daya's all right. He's all right.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, is this true about Milenkovic? You've obviously just turned up happy as West Ham Online was explaining it. So, watch this space. You know, I've kind of lost a little bit of enthusiasm over it. If it happens, it happens. Yeah, he probably will.
I read about that before we came on, so yeah, that's filtering through now, the reports. So yeah, hopefully we'll be there now.
No, it'll be a good signing, Jas. And the thing is, what you will say about him is he'll be able to bring other people into play. That's the one thing he has got. He's got a good touch, and you could even see him, if he's the only striker, if we did bring him in, playing up front with Antonio, with Antonio flicking the ball onto it, and Bowen. And I think it will be good. And his goal scoring record's pretty decent. 362 games in all competitions, 139 goals and 38 assists.
International, great record internationally for Serbia, I think it is.
Yeah, that's just club level.
The problem we've got when we're looking at Strawberry, there really isn't another Antonio out there. Someone that big, that physical, moves like a train. There's no one out there like that. So whoever we bring, we keep thinking. So even Mitrovic, he's not as rapid or explosive as Antonio. there's not going to be anyone out there, but he's got a lot of his attributes, really, and he can play that lone, powerful role that we want, really, yeah.
Right, do you want this international record? This is fucking ridiculous. Yeah?
Go on.
64 appearances, 41 goals.
And I like a player
Bloody
who
hell.
plays for his country, and he doesn't mind. He's the only one they got up front. He takes penalties and never lets anyone down. And yeah, you say a lot of things like he's a bit like Arnie, but he's never complained about. Look, Fulham, he could have easily left them. Even now, he's kept quiet for now. He's professionally told them, I like you to find a club for me, which is the way it should be done. But he's not thrown his dummy out. Even last year, they put him on the bench every game, and he kept quiet. And he said, I'll show you. I think that's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, Jazz. Another good player.
And how much is he up for on transfer market? I know that obviously
Mitrovic.
it's not necessarily, yeah.
I reckon 20 would do
15 million.
No, I
And
think
how
I
long's
want a
left
bit
on his
more.
contract?
Oh, shit. You asked me that, didn't you? 2024.
Oh, yeah. So he's got another 3
So he
years
signed
left
a
on his deal. So there,
He signed a 5-year deal in 2019.
yeah. See, that's the only thing I'd sort of like be concerned about is that they'd probably ask for more money than David Sullivan's going to give him.
They're going to ask for 25, and Sully's going to come in at 15. It's going to go on for weeks and
Yeah.
weeks and weeks, and
Yeah.
that's nothing.
And then someone else will come in. He'll go to
Something-
Southampton or Norwich.
Yeah, but if Sullivan doesn't do it because of $1 million here and there, the consequences long term are going to be huge, And I don't know if he attends games, if he's going to. You've got to think about the long term, and if he ruins what happened last year, how hard the lads and everyone worked because he keeps walking away from transfer targets that David wants because of say 3 million or whatever, which is it's a lot of money. Of course, it is for people like us, but in football, I'm sure they can cover it one way or another. Cut Karen Brady's bonus, that'll help a bit. But there you go. Yeah.
What do you boys think about this? Wheelston's just popped up and said the X has said we have a budget of around 50 million. So he's just asking, what are your thoughts?
What can you say, Gatesy? It was 85 due to Claret and Hugh. Now it's 45 yesterday. It's gone up to 50 today. But that doesn't take into account the 4 or 5 gone on or Arbeloa, whatever his name is. What's his name? The goalie.
What?
Arbeloa?
Oh, Areola. Yeah.
So we've got 45
Bit
left.
of a tit.
Yeah. Got 45 left, yeah. And if the agent wants 5 million for Milenkovic, then we've got 40 million left.
Yeah. There you go. West Ham Online. You don't need to apologise, mate. Something's come up, and you've got a dash. Then don't worry about it. It's not a problem. We thank you very much indeed for coming on as always, mate. And you're always welcome here. So yeah, thank you very much. Where am I going in Cornwall again? I'll send you a message, mate. I'll let you know. Don't worry. Okay. Right. So, Milesy, your second choice of a player that we have not been linked with in this transfer window, but you can make a case for him coming through the door at London Stadium. Go.
Right. So I'll give you a clue. Another London player. Can play in all 3 positions in the centre of midfield, defensive mid, centre, and attacking. He played for Arsenal.
Oh.
Went out on loan last year to Atletico Madrid. That is Lucas Torreira.
Okay.
That's this fella right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Look at that.
First of all,
Uruguayan, isn't he?
Yeah, Uruguay. Arteta just doesn't. Arteta just doesn't rate him. I honestly don't understand why. He's only 25 years of age, and
he's
in my opinion,
isn't he? I remember.
Yeah, mate.
Yes.
He is ridiculous. He is ridiculous, and I could just see them. His contract's up in 2023.
Yeah.
So only a couple of years.
Loan with an option to buy.
Yeah, 18 million. They said he's worth on transfer market. So if we go in, especially if Arsenal need the cash,
yeah.
If we go in with 20, they may even accept.
They want Madison, don't they? They're getting the piggy bank ready, aren't they? Yeah.
So I just
Let's
think
spend 50 million on Ben White.
I don't know much about him, but you got that much confidence in him after a few games there and there in the Premier League, one season. It's up to them.
But no, he's just. I just really rate him, to be perfectly honest. I think he's a good passer of the ball. I think he would work well with Rice and Souček, like what Jazzy said. He is a Sander Berge, but a little bit smaller, basically. He's not the biggest, but he's exactly the same mould and what we'd want him to do. I really rate him. Yeah, he is a midget.
Epic's asking, is he a midget? I think he's about 5'4", 5'5". But exactly what Jazz said, he's one of them. I've got no idea what that is. I'm feet and inches.
He's probably be like
feet and inches, mate.
Gatesy, the Italian guy. Remember, he was a back.
Yeah.
He's solid.
I'm not being funny, but he's probably one of these players that a bit like Craig Bellamy. What's he? Go on.
5'4.5".
Oh, don't forget the half an inch. That's important.
That's important. Half an inch matters. No, he's.
I think they're great, them sort of players, because they're a bit like Craig Bellamy. You remember Craig Bellamy when he came to Upton Park and he was playing for Newcastle United, he was playing for Coventry, Norwich, Blackburn Rovers. We fucking hated him. Yet when he rocked up in a claret and blue shirt, oh my God, we loved him. He was the best thing since sliced bread. And he's one of those players he's a player that you love to hate when he's an opposition player. But when he's in your team, you get it. You get what he's all about.
And to be honest, gents, he's like, Peach. So, Peach, are you really 5'4.5"? Shut up.
I think Peach has got half an inch on him. I think you're about 5'5", aren't you, Peach? So I think you're half an inch taller than this fella.
Is that including his barnet?
No. Now you're splitting hairs.
On all seriousness, I think he's a great player. Spanish champion as well. He won it with Atletico.
Yes.
So
yes, he did.
David Sullivan should be all over this, to be perfectly honest. The fact that Arsenal apparently they need him.
Sullivan.
But no, in my opinion, it'll be a good addition. Another youngster, really. 25 years of age. He's only played 254 games at club level.
Did you see Billy Gilmore ripping it for Norwich?
Why are you in the live chat?
He's probably on his way home in the car, isn't he? He's in the car.
But he's not driving. He's not driving. He can talk to us. Press the link.
If anything worse.
And I know one of the players that he would advocate. Straight away. A player that we've not been linked with, but he will think that we should be. I know one of the players straight away, but I'm going to keep quiet. Duke, hit the link. Come in. You're not driving, so don't use that as an excuse.
He's eating his
Come on and tell us. The Harry Ramsdens.
Donuts. We might have a big bag of donuts. Lovely.
Yeah.
One of them comment. Fair enough.
One of them donuts, and you can't lick your lips.
While
you eat it.
I'll tell you what.
So nice. When they come out hot, nice and hot.
Duke, do you want us to put a little bit of meat on the bones on this one, or do you want to do your own stuff?
No, he said he was going to do
a stream on it. Yeah, you can do a stream on this fella. But yeah, I know Duke is quite an advocate of this young chap. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave you guys in suspense a little bit longer as far as that one's concerned. But Lucas Torreira. So how much is he up for on transfer market?
18 million.
18 million. Do you think we could get him for around about that? Maybe a bit more?
20.
Because transfer market's not. Yeah, I'd say 20, 25. I think that'd get the job done, wouldn't it?
Or another. Arteta just doesn't like him. I reckon we could get another loan and option to buy.
That usually happens around about the 2 years left mark, though, doesn't it? That's not uncommon. So yeah, he'll be on in 2. Duke, good lad. You know it makes sense.
Did anyone else in the chat? Did anyone else in the chat say they agree with Torreira? Torreira, sorry.
Loads of names going on.
Haven't seen anyone disagree with you as much as anything. But if any of you guys do,
in the chat,
give us your opinions. Give us your opinions, guys. Don't just sit there and let us do the talking. If you've got, and there have been people, in fairness, as I've been putting the comments up, there have been people putting in. I mean, there was one that was suggested, a guy from Bilbao, Williams, I think Woodsy selected him. Wilson's just put a comment up. Hang on, no, not that one. Hang on. Torreira didn't want to play in England. He wanted to be close to his family. Not a question of Arteta not wanting him. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Okay.
If that's the case, then
why sign for Arsenal then? Yeah. When you're
but players sign for clubs and they just see the cash, don't they? And then it's like, oh shit, it's a long way. It's a long way from Oxford. Who could I be talking about?
No, it's a language issue. And if you know that documentary on Man City, Aguero lives in a 6-bedroom mansion on his own. All his family in Argentina by himself. These guys just play PlayStation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Madness. I couldn't live like that.
See, the thing is with that, if it just say, for example, if it is Spain, they can flipping go to school during the week and come and fly over every other week in London City Airport. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to think out loud. Like if they get paid a fortune.
Listen, we used to laugh. Do you remember? Kept talking about the Merseyside players at West Ham. Their wives just could not settle. We talk about Spain.
Oh, Wardy.
Mark
Ward.
Didn't John Wild give him a few extra quid?
Yeah, kept her quiet. Unsworth was another one.
Shut her up.
Yeah, there were loads.
Yeah, chuck them a few extra £20 notes. Milesy, I'm going to go into my one, but I tell you what, Mr. Singleton has come in with this fella. Do us a favour, do a little bit of research on him. We'll see what this fella's got to offer.
Oh,
okay.
Can you just plug my transfer deadline day premiere? What I'm doing while I'm looking. Make whoever was on Jake's show, they would have.
Well, we was having a little chat earlier on, Milesy and I, and he's come up with an interesting idea, and we're gonna have a go at it. Transfer deadline day is on Tuesday, the 31st of August. Correct me if I'm wrong, Milesy.
Correct.
Yep.
I think.
And Milesy just happens to be off this day as things stand right now.
Milesy, what day is
so
that?
guess what Milesy's going to do for your entertainment? Milesy, for your entertainment, so, just think about this. He's doing this for you. He is going to take the role of Jim White. He's going to do a Forge from Iron transfer day, deadline day special. So
the whole day.
Join Milesy. What time are you starting it from, Milesy?
8 a.m. till 1 o'clock the following morning.
Yeah. I'll be with him for.
But here's the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. This is a bit of a fundraiser as well for Isla. So he'll be regularly putting the banner up and rattling the tin and all that. So please give him your support. I'll probably be popping in here and there, but I will be working that day. So I can't commit to that sort of stint 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. I definitely can't. It's not just going to be West Ham related, I suspect. If it is, then Milesy's probably going to be doing, I don't know,
scratching my bollocks,
cutting his toenails or something like that. I don't know. You sort of like going to watch him scratching his ass and various other things like that. But no, it'll be a generic transfer deadline day. He'll probably have. I'm guessing you're going to have Sky Sports on with the volume turned down because obviously we don't want to get a copyright strike. And you'll be sort of like engaging with the guys in the live chat, blah blah blah. I just think
I've spoke to a couple of people already on another channel, especially young Jake. He'll be up for it. I'm guessing I'll probably have Daya on. Daya after he's watched his classic Emmerdale and all that. I'll be getting different guests on, so I might just message Forge Talk or me on Twitter if you want to, and then I'll come on as well. Oh,
try to get.
You don't like that?
I think we put
sorry.
Happy off. Happy's not happy.
Try to get a ticker on there if you can. The transfer, that'll be good.
I've just had a look at that centre back, Gatesy, before you want to do that.
What, Nico Schlotterbeck? Yeah, Nico Schlotterbeck. Is he Swiss or something?
No, German. Can play centre back or left back. He's rated 6.75 million, 21 years of age, a beast, 1.91 metres high. Currently plays for Freiburg. I always get that. No, he doesn't. He went out on loan there.
Mr. Singleton makes a really good point here, Milesy. Or are you just going to have a bucket?
With me. I'm not taking the camera with me.
Oh no! Oh my God!
No, I'm going to have advert. No, I'm going to get everyone to do like pre-recording, so it'll be like Sky Sports News when you have a break. It'll be like Gatesy or Jas or whoever talking like a pre-recording, saying how much they love us or love West Ham. We're going to do little adverts, like 30-second. I'll just put them on. But no, this player looks decent, gents. This player looks decent. Not a bad signing.
And it's the sort of age profile we should be looking at, isn't it? 21 years of age. That's the sort of age range we should be looking at. 21, 22, 23.
And and he can play
31, 32, 33.
Right, so he played 21 and played 137 games and 20 goals.
That is not bad. That is not bad at all. Oh, hang on. He's back. Hang on. We had the donut of doom, but I think you're there now, aren't you?
Hello, mate.
I think so. I don't know what's going on with this internet. It's shocking. How we doing, guys? We good?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Yeah, we're good, mate.
We're all donutted out.
We've been good lads. Good boys. We've been.
Back from Brighton.
Tell us all
Yeah,
about
good day out with the kids and the missus. It was lovely.
You bring some rock back.
Fantastic.
Do people still bring rock back?
So, boys,
I don't know.
Boys, I've got a couple of questions I want to ask quickly before I do my spiel on a certain someone. It was announced today or yesterday, I think I read it, that PSG are looking to now offload an absolute ton. I think they said 10 players are now going to be on their way out.
Yeah.
There's a certain gentleman at PSG that I've been a massive admirer of for a long, long time.
Oh, I know what's coming. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to get him. I really don't.
Is it their goalkeeper?
In my opinion, no.
Yeah, he's only just gone there, but he doesn't he's not too keen on snails and frogs' legs.
I hate you, Milesy. I really do.
Oh, someone's had a nice day at Brighton and tired. He wants to go bye-byes.
Ah, bless him.
Love
German international. Attacking midfielder.
Yep.
No, we don't need any more, really. But what about you? Would you boys and the guys and the girls in the chat, Julian Draxler? I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I'd take him at the drop of a hat.
How old is he now?
27, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not.
He's not for yonks. Yeah, I'll take him. Yeah.
The only thing that concerned me with him is his recent injury record. Actually, the only concern, skill-wise,
mate, we were linked with Teddy Ings. Leave off. We were linked with Ings, and he's, so I can't.
Yeah, we didn't sign him.
No, because otherwise we were beaten to the punch because people weren't talking about him, were they?
Yeah.
Just like no one's talking about my next chap.
Your next chap.
My next chap. Listen, right. Gatesy, I've been talking about this fella for a while now.
I do. Yes, months.
19 years old. 19 years old. German under 21. He is something else. If you want my opinion, he is something else. Why have I got music playing in the background? Hang on. That's better.
Don't go break him.
No, that wasn't that one. That was on the other day. In the pub. That was on in the pub the other day.
Go break him,
He's not the biggest in the world. He's 5'8". But listen, I've been watching German football for the last God knows how long. And as you guys know, when we did our You're the Manager stuff, Gatesy, I sent you a list of players, didn't I? And I think I had about 13 that were on there. And I think the only ones that were over the age of 20 or 21 were the freebies or the loan deals, weren't they? Everything else were these youngsters that I've been I don't want to say watching because that sounds really creepy. these younger players, and Karim Adeyemi out of Salzburg is honest to God, he is something else. All right, he's like I say, he's left-footed. He can play left wing. He can play as a out-and-out striker. He can play as a number 10. And I'm telling you now, there was only one player that was close to him in my list, and that was Lucas Nemecha, who Man City obviously sold and got rid of a couple of months or a month ago, wasn't it? I think it was Wolfsburg, I think he went to. And he was the only other player on that list that I think would have got close to Adeyemi. Now, Adeyemi is currently being discussed. He's the jewel in the crown of the new Germany, and he's the next one to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Patson Daka and Erling Haaland that came out of Salzburg into Leipzig, and then from Leipzig onwards. Now, allegedly, according to Transfer Market, he's only worth 9 million quid. But when you've got the likes of Dortmund and Munich, Barcelona all keeping an eye on him, he ain't going for that kind of money. He's described as a similar player to Dybala of Juventus, although he's more explosive and more direct. He's more. He knows what a goal is. I can't get enough for the kid. I think he's so far this season in the Bundesliga, he's played 3 games, he's scored 5, and he's assisted 1. Now, not Bundesliga, the Austrian Bundesliga. Sorry, 6 goals involvement in 3 games. I don't know what else you really need out of that. I would be all over that. Moyes is banging on about bringing in players that are gonna fit a certain, the likes of a Red Bull model. He wants to bring in these style of players, and if I'm honest with you, surely he fits that model along with a guy there that Epic's just mentioned, Seiko Koita. Again, another player that he's only 21. He's a little bit shorter in height than Adeyemi, but again, he's explosive. He's quick. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for us to get in ahead of these, shall we say, these big clubs. That's the only concern, is getting in front of these big clubs, the likes of Barcelona, Munich, Dortmund, who have.
Well, you'd think that given that he's at Salzburg, his next move's going to be to Leipzig, isn't it?
But that's my point. It doesn't have to be, Gatesy. It doesn't have to be. Leipzig were responsible, if I remember rightly, for what was it, Mane? Sadio Mane, I believe, came out of Leipzig. I think there's been 2 or 3 others that have made the transition straight out of Leipzig into other countries. So his next move doesn't have to be to a Salzburg or a Dortmund or a Munich. I personally think if we could get Adeyemi on a deal that would be 15 to 20 million up front, with the promise of, if he scores 20 goals in a season, there's another £1 million in it for the selling club. Same for him. We could offer him. I know Leipzig are going to give him European experience, but not being funny, I think as a club we could offer him. Listen, he could play in the senior team tomorrow if we bought him all day long. He could walk into our first team. And the scary thing is, with his explosive pace, and his absolute knack for like I say, he's got 5 goals in 3 games so far this season at Leipzig, with players like Bowen and Benrahma in that squad that can pick a pass. Declan Rice can hit a 40-yard pass. You know what? With Adeyemi's pace, he'd be gone and dusted before the centre back even knows what's going on. You know, very much like Michael Owen against Argentina, Gatesy. Andy, you might not have been born then. You know, that kind of. All right, yeah. What, months old?
David's gone, mate.
Pup.
I was still in nappies, bro.
Yeah. Still breastfeeding. For me, listen, there is so much talent over in Germany, over in Austria, because of the way that Red Bull do things. You know, the way Red Bull have that scouting system. You know, it's their scouting system's quality. If anyone wants to have a little look, I do recommend going to the footballtalentscout.net website. He's a young lad, Jacek Kulig. He's a young lad who basically follows the youth of Europe and South America. To be fair,
that sounds a bit creepy as well.
Yeah, listen, that's not what I meant. Don't start. He's got over 800 players on a database that he's created himself and with help of a few others. He's got 826 players in total on that list. The latest one he's come out with. You know what, mate? I tell you,
why don't West Ham employ him?
The last one he put out was a young lad called Luka Andronach. Luka Andronach, his name is. No, Luka Andronach. He plays in. Where does he play at the minute? I think he's in Romania for Farul Constanța or whatever that is. Plays as a winger, centre forward. He's currently 18. But again, he lists their strengths, he lists their weaknesses. So this young lad here, oh fuck me, similar type of player, Marko Arnautovic. Don't want him.
Oh dear, he's frozen.
Yeah, that is funny, and that is funny.
Oh dear. Are you back?
Is he back?
I don't know. The suspense is killing me.
Can you?
It's gone a little bit pear-shaped, Duke.
You're moving on my screen.
Do you remember Norman Collier? This is like the internet version.
My name is Gates.
Put 50 pence in the meter. Put 50 pence in the meter, dude.
It's his boy on Fortnite.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it is. It could be worse. It could be he's older. He's like, but my 18-year-old boys, and he's probably downloading porn all the time. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
he's at the. Wait. Yeah. All right. Hang on. I've got to go and open the door. You lot carry on chatting.
Oh, it's just me, I think. Duke's frozen. Jazz is probably...
He's frozen. Yeah, I'll be back in literally like 20 seconds.
Yeah. So, Duke's frozen. Jazz is probably gone for a piss or doing another drink. Anyone in the chat going to West Ham Fan TV event tomorrow? Or who's going to Newcastle? You may see me there. I've finally got my ticket. So, is anyone else going?
I'm back. There we go. Sorry, my boy was at the door.
Yeah.
He says
you couldn't.
He does keep crashing. But you say you're still here, Mr. Stribling, but I'm not too sure. I'm really not. Hang on. Oh, we got the donut of doom now. Hang on. Is he coming back? I reckon he's done Control-Alt-Delete. And now, when that hadn't worked, I reckon he's now throwing his computer against the wall.
Yeah.
Because he's such an even-tempered chap.
Jazz has just gone as well.
Jazz has gone for a crap. But there you go. So Karim Adeyemi. I mean, Duke, I've got to say, Duke has been banging on about Karim Adeyemi for months. And I've caught a little bit of him. I hadn't really heard of the guy until Duke mentioned him. And obviously, you start doing a little bit of digging. You look on Transfer Market, you look on Wikipedia, you look on YouTube. And I've got to say, I agree with him. I think he could be someone that has got a big future ahead of him. So watch this space for Karim Adeyemi. Well, You're back. We can hear you.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Are you sure your kids aren't doing something on the internet they shouldn't? Okay. Now this is different scenery.
Where are you?
You're in the toilet, aren't you? You're on the crap house.
No, I'm actually in the corridor at the other end of the fucking flat.
Oh my word!
I'm literally sat on top of my router. My router is I'm literally sat on my router over there, and I've had enough already. Computer's about
You're not supposed to sit on the router, for Christ's sakes.
Well, it's the only way I'm getting internet. So, as I was saying, okay, Luka Andrinac.
Before you was rudely interrupted. Yep.
No, just don't. So this talent scout website lists.
Can't hear you, Duke. You froze again. Can't hear you.
Don't fucking start, Milesy. I'm going to stab you. I am. Listen, right. I'm going to go get me Bowie knife. You're going to get hurt.
Love you.
Oh dear. Oh dear. You're going to lose even more, Milesy.
You know what? I'm not talking to any of you.
Oh, we love you, really.
I'm going to talk to the people in the chat. So you guys in the chat and Jazz, I'll talk to you lot. So this website reckons this young lad's a 7 out of 10, and if you go through his website, you have a look at the players that he talks about. Like I say, there's 826 on there. If not more, I think, possibly some more. And he also, if you actually go back to the developmental stage of this website when he first started it, he's on Twitter as F Talent Scout. Sorry, F Talent Scout. If you actually want to see that the guy knows his stuff, he actually did a. Just trying to load it up here. He actually did a thing about Romelu Lukaku when he was at Stamford Bridge. You better not be starting with me because I will slap the lot of you. Happy, right? I don't want to do this anymore, right? I'm going to quit, right?
No.
Gatesy,
please,
I'm handing in my.
If you leave
I'm handing
me
in.
now, you
No.
take away
I'm
the
handing in.
biggest part.
I'm handing in my 3-day notice. My 3-day notice.
No,
to Force
you can't. You can't.
Right?
You can't.
I'm
you know
leaving.
you can't. We discussed this.
And you know what you don't get
You
now.
know you
do
can't.
you know what you don't get now? Because
No, we discussed this at the very beginning. We said that once we was in, and that was it. There was no way out. Oh, we're not going to get a copyright strike, are we?
No, because it's karaoke.
Do you know? I hope we do get a copyright strike. Fucking hell!
Right? You wanted that.
It's my hippo outfit.
You know what? I'm putting in a transfer to West Ham random. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, look, you can have the shirt back. Now you can have the shirt back. Yeah,
Are
you? Right, I'm off.
You didn't have the shirt back. You paid for it, you silly sod.
Right. I did like you lot once. I did. All of you.
No, we.
Now it's
Don't
over.
me. He's got the over Happy's comment. Look, she says she loves you. She's asking for forgiveness.
So she should. Look at this. Look at no. Anyway.
What was she saying, Duke?
Nothing. I was saying nothing at all. Absolutely nothing.
This Romanian fella. Come on.
Yeah. Arnie.
No, I'm done with that.
Arnie 2.0.
EastEnders. Yeah, he's right there. I like that. Yeah.
Come on, Duke.
No,
finish it. I'm waiting.
Phone, no one wants me to take the shirt off. Anyway, as I was saying, until you rude lot interrupted me, he did a thing on Lukaku when he was at Chelsea when he was 18, and he's put out a link again to him from that original from the original scouting report that he put out on him. So you can see that he knows his stuff. You can see that he knows he knows his players and he knows the talent when he sees it. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what comes of these youngsters.
Sorry.
Like I say, with
No, I'm being serious. Sorry, Duke. Has anyone seen what's happened in Plymouth?
No.
Sorry.
Plymouth shooting, multiple fatalities. There's multiple fatalities from a serious and tragic incident in Plymouth, and a shooter involved has been shot.
Drake Circus Shopping Centre. That was an hour ago. Holy crap!
Someone just sent me. Yeah.
Look,
waiting confirmation of a number of victims. It looks like a very grim day for our city and community.
Well,
terrible world we live in at times.
I know it's.
Sorry.
I was just saying. I know it's of no consolation, but our thoughts and best wishes and prayers from all of us here with the families and anyone else involved in that down there. Just to put a more serious note on things, but that doesn't look pleasant to say the least down there.
No, it's not good. I wasn't aware of that until you just brought it up. But our thoughts to everyone involved. It's that's put a bit of a dampener on things. But
and unfortunately, like you said there, Gatesy, it's a sign of the times in the world we live in at the minute. And I can without being disrespectful, I can imagine our shall we say, our friends on the other side of the water will be using that as a reason for why they have guns and why we should have guns. Because guns don't kill people. People with guns, bad people will, or whatever it is they use. So, it's a sad day. Whatever the situation is out there, what's gone on down in Plymouth, it's a sad day. But it's like you say, a sign of the times we live in nowadays. But no. I've got nothing else to say on that one, really. Back to football. What were you talking about?
I almost don't want to do my second player of choice.
You got to, mate.
I got to. Yeah, show must go on, as they say.
World keeps turning, my friend.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just kind of put a bit of a dampener on, because I'm going
Jas,
to that part of the world tomorrow.
Jas, you good? Good?
Yeah, I'm chilling out, mate. I'm chilling out. Yeah, I'm listening.
I saw you looking at the rums.
He's at his rum.
No, this transfer window is taking a lot out of me. I'm a bit drained.
Mate, don't. It's done it to all of us, to be fair. I'll be glad when the window's over, and whether we've signed players or whether we haven't, I can just sort of say, do you know what? We've just got to get on with it until January. So
I think that's
pick the bones out of that one. But okay. Well, my second player. Now, this is a player who I think it was yesterday. The story came out that his parent club want him out, amongst other players, not just him, because they basically need to balance the books. They need to sort of recalibrate their finances, as a lot of clubs do. Because they've done a bit of business in this particular transfer window, unlike us, but that's another story. So this guy, he's probably younger than you think. Oops. He's younger than you think, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's 25 years of age. 25 years of age. He's been playing Premier League football, though, for, about 6-7 years now. He's a striker. Or at least he can play as a striker. I would get him in as a striker. He can also be deployed on either wing, if needs be. He's rapid. He's got good close control. He knows how to finish. And he's got a little bit of a connection with West Ham already, because at the last game of the Boleyn, he scored 2 goals. His name, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've worked it out, is Anthony Martial. I think that he could come in, and let me just, there he is. I think he could come in, and I think he could be a sort of like someone that could come in and play the number 9 role, because obviously, you know, we need someone that's quick, because we play a counter-attacking style of football. We can't have a striker that's not very mobile, a la Sebastian Haller. So we need to have someone with a little bit of pace about them. This guy's got it. He's got a proven record in Premier League football. He gets a goal in Premier League football. He's got a goal every 210 minutes. So it's just a little bit over a goal every other game. And as I say, his parent club don't want him. His parent club want him out the door, along with a number of other players like your Phil Joneses and your Jesse Lingards and all the rest of it. And Jesse Lingard's obviously a player that we've been linked with, but we don't need an attacking midfielder. We need a striker. And this guy can play that role. As I say, he can also play on the flanks as well if needs be. But this guy can play through the middle. At 25 years of age, I would suggest that he still has yet to hit his prime years. I think he probably got about another 3 years before he hits his peak. Around about 28, most players hit their peak. So this guy's 25. And I would suggest that we could get this guy. Don't put in a shit bid, though, Mr. Sullivan. Don't put in a bid of 10, 15 million. If you want a proper striker, Mr. Sullivan, and this guy can be your man, you need to put in a proper bid. If it's 30 million, if it's 35 million, pay the fucking money. Get the deal over the line. Stop pissing around and doing all this, you know, we'll pay over a 6-year period and we'll chuck in a couple of dildos and whatever else to sweeten the deal. Be serious, okay? You need to pay money, okay? Buy cheap, buy twice. That's the saying, yeah? We don't want to keep buying strikers at 10 million and then moving them on and then buying another striker for 15 million and moving them on and yada, yada, yada. This guy we can get through the door, and we could conceivably have him for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Who knows? Who knows? But I think this guy should be in contention for our number 9 spot. What say you, gentlemen?
Yeah. I would have him all day long. I would 100% have him all day long. 35 million, I think we probably would get him. But... will we pay that? Probably not.
No.
I know he's on big wages. So, but if he's your main man,
we've freed up a lot of wages already, Mark. You know, I'm not terribly convinced that we couldn't afford him as far as the wages are concerned. And here's the thing, and we was talking about this earlier, so you know what I'm about to say, but the rest of the guys might not. Maybe Sullivan could do what he normally does, the old option to buy, loan first, subsidise the wages for the first year. So so Manchester United get a portion of Martial's wages off of their books. We stump up the rest. He gets to be playing regular first team football, which he's not getting at the minute. And we can then sign him 12 months down the track if he comes in, he hits the ground running, which I think he will, because as I say, I think his style of play and our style of play are perfectly aligned with one another. I think he could play the role that Antonio plays. The only difference is I think he's a better technical footballer. I don't think he's as strong as Antonio. Obviously, Antonio's more of a bull sort of thing. You know, he can bully opposition defenders with his bulk, with his strength. Whereas I think Martial is more explosive, you know, out of the blocks. I think he's actually slightly quicker than Antonio, in my opinion. But and listen, you're probably right. He'd probably cost 40 million. Maybe he would. Like I say, I think somewhere in the 30 to 40 million pound bracket is probably what Man United would ask for. But Ken, honestly, I think, you know, we need to spend the money. You know, I don't want to get through this transfer window not having a striker in. Forget getting a centre back in. You know, forget getting in a defensive mid. Although yes, that might be a priority to a point, but surely the striker is the priority. It's got to be the priority. And 180k a week, as I say, I think if you did it where it was a loan of an option to buy Foe, and you turned around to Man United and said, we'll pay, I don't know, 50, 60% of the wages, Manchester United top up the rest, and then after the year, we then sign him, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a win-win. I really do think that's a win-win.
Jas?
I think a couple of points on him. He's one of the most naturally gifted players in the league. He's got everything that you need. He's got pace. He's got strength. And I remember many, many games against us round the PIA season. He absolutely murdered us. I used to call him like a 911 Porsche. He reminds me of Bellamy a lot in a lot of aspects. The way these people glide across the pitch, don't they? The way they play. They're beautiful to watch. But the problem is he's had a few injuries and he seems to be not quite... There's something in him that's not alive, that needs wakening up. He just seems to be quietly sleeping through his career. When Gatesy, you've highlighted, I have, that he's up there. He's got everything. You know, like in the Euros, I don't think he got anywhere near the French squad. I mean, that's where he should be aiming to be with what he's got. So there is something.
But isn't it Jesse Lingard all over again, Jas? Could it not be a bit like Lingard, you know, where you've got a player that maybe, you know, he's kind of lost his way a little bit for whatever reason. You know, maybe we could be the catalyst for him, you know, making the next World Cup squad for France.
It's got to be.
I think a lot of foreign players, London's going to suit him down to the ground. Eurostar 1 hour away from Paris. And I think we'll get him for a lot less than some of what you guys are saying. I think 30 million, and we can begin talking. I don't think it's going to go 35. I think closer to 30, because like you said, a lot of people want to freshen their squads up. They haven't got time to keep these players on, and he has not delivered to what they originally thought. And his wages are going to be high, but he's got to think about it. If someone wants you. Whereas United, he's just sleepwalking his career into nowhere. And but then again, you can't piss Man United off Lars Sullivan. He's got to give a really stupid bid, and that just puts people off, you know. And you got to start around the 30 mark, or 25, late 25 to 30s, and see where we go, and see if the player shows early signs of I want a bit of London, I want a bit of team in Europa, and if I can push them on to the next level and get those 4th, 5th, 6th spots, whatever. Yes, but these current owners don't have the ambition to spend that kind of money, I think. Yeah.
But what
sorry, Milesy, carry on.
No, what I would say is I would offer him like 140 grand a week, but like what we were discussing on other transfers, you offer him ridiculous goal bonus. You score a goal, you get 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand. If that footballers, I don't care what anyone says, they're attracted to the money. There's a short career, and if we offer stupid bonuses like that, that's going to make them even more determined. I don't know about you guys. What do you reckon on goal bonus? Less money, but higher goals for that position.
I think you can get any player out these days if the package is right. I believe that. But we're not that bad. We're 6th, but we don't have the owners to do it. If they really wanted us to go places, we can grab most players. But there you go. But I mean, does he play up front? Does he play up front a lot by himself, or is he stuck to the wings a lot of the time, like Rashford?
He floats around, to be fair, Jas. I mean, you know, he'll, like I say, he can play on either flank. He can play through the middle, and we know that David Moyes loves a player with a bit of versatility. Do you know what I mean? So
I'll tell you what, him and Antonio.
I think they'll spend the money. Probably not, but you know, I think that this absolutely should be someone that we should be. You know, like I say, if it's 30 million, if it's 35 million, I just think just stop and think about what he could be it's a long-term investment. You could have him, like I say, he's 25. He's proven in the Premier League. He's not someone you're getting from, you know, France or, you know, Portugal or wherever, and you're sort of sitting there and thinking, is he going to adapt to the Premier League? He's played Premier League football for the last 6 years or so. He's adapted. He's in. So you ain't got that. It's not a risk
He's very
in that regard.
He's very mobile.
You know, and you could have
he
him for
runs
another
the
5-6
channels like
years, easy.
Lingard, Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
he's available. To
I
always wants the
don't
ball.
think he did. I think he was a Louis van Gaal signing. I'm fairly sure he was a Van Gaal signing, not a Moyes signing. So I don't believe so, Reese.
No, I reckon you're talking Fergie, maybe Fergie's time, maybe.
No,
I don't
He's been
think
there
so.
ages.
15-16 he signed for him.
I reckon he's
Yeah, that was Van Gaal,
Fergie.
because Fergie left in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So it wouldn't be Fergie, and Moyes only lasted a year, so he left in 2014. So if it's 2015, it's Van Gaal.
Yeah,
So,
15-16 was the last year at the Boleyn, and Van Gaal was in charge, wasn't he? So
yeah, like I say, he scored 2 goals in that game, didn't he? He scored both the goals for United. So, but yeah, I mean, if we're going to do business with United in this summer, to be honest, I don't want it to be Lingard, over Anthony Martial. I would rather get Martial ahead of Lingard. Just my opinion. It might be unpopular, but there you go.
Would you, like what Jas said, if they're potentially taking offers like what you said, closer to 30, I'd maybe offer 40 for both of them, Lingard and Martial. Try and test them.
That might be a way around it.
You want both of them off your book? Yeah, we'll offer 40 million for both of them.
Yeah. Well, they need to recalibrate their finances by all accounts. So, yeah, why not? Duke, have you frozen on us again?
No,
you are. You're there.
I was sitting here listening. It's all right. I was paying attention. Honestly, I don't see it. Gatesy, you make a great argument there, mate. And listen, I ain't going to disagree with you. You know, I said the other night on another stream, and I've said it to you boys. My concern is here we are. We're looking at a £14 million, £18 million, Milenkovic, and Tottenham, who are apparently, a significant amount of money in debt. I've just gone out and spent £40-odd million on Romero from Atalanta. Cyber, yes, we are open till 11 o'clock. We finished higher than Spurs. They're Conference League. We're Europa League. And Spurs have just spent £46 million or £42 million, on a centre back in Romero. And here we are going, we want to haggle for a £14 million defender. Like, what the fuck is going on? Surely, if at Tottenham, a side that have got a multi-million-pound debt, more than us, allegedly, are still able to go out and sign these players. I'm going to be funny. We're looking at £14 million players here, boys. That seems to be our limit right now. £14 million players, possibly 20, 25 million tops. So sadly, I don't see us getting Martial. There's a couple of players that were mentioned quickly, a little bit further back. I think it was Massive and I can't remember who else it was actually. Without scrolling back, one spoke about Matthew Hopp from. He's the American fella playing out in Germany, and you've got Daryl Dyke, who, if I remember rightly, was on loan at Barnsley last year. Listen, both of those are cracking players. Hop, I believe, is 6'2", big old centre forward, solid player. Not as mobile or as quick as Adeyemi. So, I mean, honestly, if we had to pick, for me, listen, I mean, Adeyemi, praiser for the last probably 3 or 4 months. So for me, it's Adeyemi. Daryl Dyke, I like the look of. Maybe next season, I'd like to see him, if he can recreate last year's form again this season. I think Wildston mentioned Dan James earlier.
He did, I believe, yeah.
And I'm telling you now, if someone turned around and went to me, Dan James, yes. He's
down the pecking order as well, isn't he? If you think about it.
I think he's one of the players they want to get rid of.
I'd take James over Lingard right now. If you had to ask me, we've got a Lingard player in Ben Rama. We've got a Lingard player in Ben Rama. If we bring in Lingard, we stunt the development. We stunt the development of
Ben Rama.
Ben Rama, which
and possibly damage his confidence as well.
Yes, all day long. Whereas if you turn around and say to me, Dan James, who can play on the left, by the way, all right, that's a bit harsh on Fornals, but Dan James can play on the left, and
I love the pace. He rips it. Yeah.
Has the pace to support Cresswell. You know, so I would be.
He could be the quickest in the Premiership.
Without a doubt.
Mora.
Can you imagine having his pace? Can you imagine having his pace one side? You've got Bowen the other side. You've got Ben Ramos in that number 10 role. Depending on who we get up front, mate, I tell you, we get Adeyemi. I'd honestly take us for a sorry, Fo. Listen, if we honest to God, if we got Adeyemi this year, I could see us having a trophy with our name on it, and probably another top 6 finish. I'm that confident that kid will bag us goals left, right, and centre. Honest to God, I honestly, I wax lyrical about the kid, not just to you you 3 boys here, you guys in the chat. I talk about him in the pub. I talk about him with one of my young lads that works for me. He used to play. He was on the books at Cheltenham for a while until he did his ACL, and we were discussing players that I'd like to see us come in. And I told him about Adeyemi. He went away, took a look, and he came back agreeing with me. He's exactly the type of player that Moyes really wants to find. November, mine. He's exactly the sort of player that we could do with. Pacey, young, has a huge sell-on fee, boys. I think that's again, we were talking about this not so long ago. Huge sell-on fees. This is what we need to be looking at. If we can bring in Adeyemi for 15, 20 million quid in 4 or 5 years after a banging couple of seasons with West Ham, you could be looking at 70, 75 million quid as a player. So that's where I'm at. I want to see youngsters come through the doors. I'm sick and tired, and I know we all are. I don't want to see another Sergei Rebrov, Davor Suker, Teddy Sheringham, that kind of, these Freddie Lundberg, Jack Wilson.
Sheringham, in fairness, was a good servant. I will say, but the other two wasn't.
But there was nothing else.
I know what you're saying. You're about resale value. Yeah.
I think Alan Pardew, we bought some crackers, bought some great players under his when he was around. Alan Pardew, Riacoto, Harewood, Ben Yoon, Dean Ashton, Carlton Cole, loads of good players. I
want to get the academy flowing again. I want to get the academy working in our favour. I want us to start building that back up, because I'm telling you now,
I'm an advocate of that.
Yeah,
but listen, because the thing for me that pisses me off is sort of like, you've got the carpet on the running track and it's emblazoned with the Academy of Football, and when you look at players that have come from the academy, come into the first team and made themselves a first teamer. Okay, other than Declan Rice, who've we had in the last 10 years that's actually come from the academy and actually nailed a consistent first team berth?
You haven't, Gatesy, and I think that's the problem.
I think that Bournemouth kid did all right. Stanislaus, he did all right for himself, isn't he, away from West Ham?
Yeah, but again,
he never established himself properly, did he?
Stanislas, Zavon Hines, the floor was theirs and the world was their oyster, but they didn't actually do anything. They didn't actually.
Probably before Rice, it was probably Tompkins or Collison, wasn't it? It was the only one I can think of that actually came into the first team from the academy and actually was like, boom, they're a first teamer.
Nobes. But Nobes has been around forever and a day. And I know you're saying 10 years, but Nobes probably would have really been the last one to come through that academy that really cemented his place. Reece Oxford.
You don't think Collison or Tompkins sort of like fits that bill?
they fit the bill in a way that we didn't have anyone else in that position, Gatesy. So it was more of a in you go kind of thing. I love Tompkins. I loved Collison. I've got a lot of respect for Collison. He still speaks very highly of the club. He, fantastic servant for the club. Not just when he played, but off the field as well. And you remember what happened at the, with his dad and everything else. So, it's hard.
He established himself, mate. Reece Oxford never established himself.
No.
Reece.
He had one good game and then realised he'd made it and decided to act like a tit and throw it all away.
Do you know one who I'm really surprised that I thought had a really bright future was Jordan Spence? I honestly thought he was going to be really good. He was probably one of my biggest letdowns to come out of the academy, in my opinion. Honestly, I thought he was going to be amazing, but I think he still plays for Ipswich. I think he may have moved on since then.
Mate,
but
there were several, weren't there? I mean, you say Jordan Spence.
Oh, Christ, we had loads.
You could say Cullen. Who's he? Did he end up at Hull? What was his name?
Reece Burke.
He was another one that I thought had a lot going for him. We had quite a few. Happy.
Was around.
Happy. Please explain this. Am I missing? Oh no. Okay. I think I understand. See, Happy. What you got to understand there is I've read that, and I was thinking you were talking about something else.
I know what you were thinking.
I'm guessing we're talking about his his ghost, his Carolina, whatever the bloody thing is, the Pepper. The Reaper that he had earlier. So, I've yet to go back and watch that. I've got to be honest. I can't imagine that was much fun, though.
Charlie. I'll tell you what, you carry on talking. I'm going to send him the link for this stream.
I don't think his voice box is going to be working. Listen, boys, my battery's back on the laptop. I've got to dip out, so because I've got to stick it on charge. And if I leave this room, my internet ain't going to work. Let's clear that up straight off the bat. So if you're still on, once I can try and sort my internet out, I will be back.
All right.
Everyone in the chat, I love you all. You wonderful people. I'll see you soon.
Cheers for coming, Duke. Appreciate it, mate.
I'm going to make a move as well, gentlemen.
Okay.
I just feel drained. Yeah, I don't know what's up. I just feel really drained. Yeah.
We're going to carry on chatting for a little bit.
Did the wife give you a big dinner, Jazz?
Actually, no. I've been watching. Anyway, I'll discuss it later. I've been watching something on Netflix that I want to get to the end of as well.
No worries, mate. Thanks for
Charlie,
coming on, mate.
Check your Twitter DMs, Charlie.
Take care, Jazz. Speak to you later, mate.
See you later, buddy. Look after yourself. I'll speak to you soon, yeah? Thanks for coming. Do appreciate it. Yeah. Brian, I agree with that comment, sadly. As I say, I know the thing with Martial, it may be aspirational, but I'm a dreamer. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that at the beginning of the season, you ask me what can West Ham achieve, and I will look at you and I will say we can win the Premier League. And I will be serious. Probably we won't. But I'm the guy that will turn around to you and say, listen, Leicester won the Premier League a season after they were almost relegated. We've just finished 6th. It's not that big a jump. Now, the chances of it happening, like I say, I don't want you to think I'm absolutely crackers. I appreciate the chances are remote, to say the least. But it's not impossible. I am that guy that says we will start a season the same as every other team, the same as Man City, same as Liverpool. We'll all start on 0 points and we go from there over the course of 38 games. So, will the board spend what I think they ought to spend on a player of Martial's caliber? I'm not overly hopeful, but I live in hope. I live in hope that on the 31st, I'll be at work. I'll have my Bluetooth headset on. I'll have Force from Irons transfer deadline day special with Milesy in the role of Jim White. Have you got a yellow tie, by the way?
I'm going to order one.
Have you?
I'm gonna order one.
Fo, yeah, listen, I've not been smoking anything. Like I say, the chances are remote. I mean, I've probably got more chance of walking out of my front door right now and sort of like going past on Shergar is Elvis Presley. There's probably more chance of that happening than there is of West Ham winning the Premier League this season. I'm not daft. I know that, but like I say, Leicester won the Premier League the season after they almost got relegated. We finished 6th last season, so the jump between the two is not as much. Who the bloody hell's this? Is this at you? Is there something you're not telling me?
Me? No.
Is this your child?
No.
Is this your child?
No. Is it something you're not telling me?
Do I actually talk to Jim? Jim who? Jim White?
Yeah. Gatesy slides in his DMs.
Actually.
He slides into his DMs.
I talk to Jim White on a very regular basis. It's in the van on his TalkSport show, and I talk to him. There's an awful lot of swear words usually, in truth, but exactly that, Reese. Exactly that. We're one of 20 teams in the league. Why can't we win it? And until such time as it ever becomes a mathematical impossibility, then I'm the one that turns around and says, "Well, we can. We can. Probably won't, but we can."
We're fucking massive,
listen,
we Gatesy.
We are. Come on. Listen, Fo. Glass half full, not glass half empty. Yeah. Come on. What about Milenkovic? I don't know, mate. When it's done, whatever, then fine. But there's just been so much toing and froing, as I've said to the lads earlier. I've kind of lost a little bit of enthusiasm. So there you go. Kiefer Moore has just subscribed. Are you the Kiefer Moore? I'll tell you what, if you are, we need a striker. And right on cue, look who's just turned up. Charlie. This is your debut, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
I think it is. I think this is your Forge debut.
Yeah, we've all did bits together, but on different things, huh? Yeah.
Welcome aboard, mate. It's been a long time coming. How are you?
Well, the burning sensation in the mouth is gone, but my stomach is let me tell you, it's something else. It is something else.
I didn't catch it, but go on, talk to me. What was it like? Was it literally like swallowing molten lava?
Listen, I got teabagged by Satan. We'll just say that. You guys know that term, what a teabag is over there?
Yes.
Well, okay. Yeah, it was bad. So, and then I told my brother, right? I says, get me some milk. I said, I want the milk with the blue lid, because the red milk makes me sick in my stomach with the red, like the whole milk or whatever. So he brings back a blue carton, but it wasn't milk. It was almond milk. And that's basically like water from the coconut. So it didn't help. So what it was, I had to eat the pepper, right? And I couldn't drink nothing for 5 minutes. This thing was so hot. Right. I was chewing it. And it was like chewing wood. I was trying to swallow it. My mind and my body, my neck was like, nope. So I'm trying to force it down. It's slowly going down. And it's the worst thing. I'm telling you right now. And then once I got it down, I'm like, okay, it's going to be over. And then bing, then the flame hits my mouth. All right. Like a Scotch bonnet, they measure and they call them Scoville units. It's like 300 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Joan is like 1.5 to 2 point something million. It's way up there it's the number one Guinness book. You know what I mean? So right up above it is pepper spray, like the old Bill used, So I'm sitting there and Jake's counting it down. It's like a VAR decision. It's taking so long. And I was like, don't count. Don't tell me the time. And he's like, 3 minutes. And I could have swore half an hour went by. So, people I couldn't see my eyes. They shut. I was crying. I don't know if the camera could see it good. Then I had snot coming out of my nose. So then I did the 5 minutes. I start to drink the coconut milk, right?
Yeah.
So then when that coconut milk hits the peppers in my belly, it made it just wasn't happening. I might have threw up with regular milk. I don't know. So I'm like, somebody come on and relieve me so I can go. So finally I did the 5 minutes, and then Peach came on. I went straight to the bathroom. I blah 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 came up twice, and when it came out, it was terrible. When I threw it up out, oh man, absolute no good. Yeah, I ordered a cheesesteak from cheesecake from Junior's. The Uber Eats still bringing it. He's taking his time. A mess. Don't
Charlie,
do it.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you, mate, because I tell you what, my son who works in Duke's pub, I think it was the Arsenal game. It was the Arsenal game last year, the one at the Emirates, and we was in Duke's pub watching it. And there was me, there was Duke, and there was my son George, and they had something on his menu, and it had, and I can't remember what exactly the chili was, but it was one of the hotter ones. And Duke actually said to him, "If you eat that," this was to my son. He said, "If you eat that, I will pay a shift. I will give you money for a paid shift." And my son went, "All right." And I tell you what, he looked very uncomfortable, but Duke was pretty impressed with him. He was laughing, but mate, I tell you what, when you go to the bog tomorrow, you got a problem, because I tell you what, it will be like a ring of fire. I hope you got a bucket of ice.
Yeah, I had a bucket during the show, but I was like, man, I felt it coming, so I was like, oh man, this is gonna be.
I think you'll need it when you go to the toilet tomorrow, mate. You might want to get your roll of toilet paper and put it in the fridge now.
Yeah, well, you know, the good thing about puking up a little bit was it burned coming out that way, but at least it might save me a little bit tomorrow. But I don't have too much. I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Oh man! But we raised a good bit of money. That was the key, you know, for the charity. And they had a set mark. What do you say? You go to cheese? No, I don't go to Cheesecake Factory. I go to it's a place called Junior's in Brooklyn. Look it up, Junior's. World famous.
If ever I get over to Brooklyn, mate, I'll have to check it out. Obviously, you know, you and I can hook up, go for a beer or two. If ever I get to your side of the pond, we'll have to check it out. I like a bit of cheesecake.
Yeah, I'll either have Hennessy or Jameson. I don't really do the beer, but
now we're talking.
Yeah, we'll get on the piss real good. I guarantee it.
When are you over? You're around about Christmas time, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm posted. If everything's good with the traveling, you know, God forbid there's no more situations, right? So I know I'm kind of worried about it a little bit, but it is what it is. Last year, before I was gonna fly over, it was like whenever the COVID started, right? I got my ticket like 2 months in advance, and then bang, the whole world shut down. No flying anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But they refunded me the money, but this time around, I don't know if they will. I don't know. I hope no dodgy stuff happens when I try to fly across.
No,
that'd be terrible.
Well, keep your fingers crossed for you, mate.
Over here, I think is it in 3 or 4 days the restrictions change again. Like I think between America and England, I think it's pretty much sweet. I think after like August the 16th, I think, unless something dramatic happens. But like you said, it could be a winter flourish again. But most of the country will be double jabbed, so I think it should be all good.
Can I just do a little announcement?
What's that?
I'm just going to do a little announcement. And you guys that are watching, there's 41 of you at the minute. I'd like to thank every one of you that has taken the trouble to subscribe. And if you haven't, why? But do it. Come on. Drop a like on the video as well. But if you haven't subscribed, guys, please do. The reason I'm mentioning it is because I've just literally looked. We're at 624 subscribers.
Bang!
It's not bad.
Climbing up
not
there.
bad.
Just the other day, you was what?
Listen,
just passing 5.
Well, what was it? A week ago, I think we was approaching the 500 mark,
480,
and we went through that. Yeah, we went through that, and then just carried on going. We smashed through 600 yesterday, wasn't it, Milesy?
Yeah.
Went through to 600, and we're now at 624. I mean, it's and like I say, you guys that are watching, that have taken time out of your day to sit here and watch us waffling on for the last 2 hours and nearly 5 minutes about our club. or maybe even not our club. There might be some people watching that maybe aren't West Ham fans. They might be fans of other clubs, and they've just stumbled across and they think, do you know what? It's actually quite entertaining. I'll sit here and watch it for a bit. Listen, I thank you all seriously, very sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, because it makes it all worth it. Knowing that there's people out there that are actually interested in us lunatics rattling on for however long. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And Charlie,
Cyber, thanks very much for that.
Charlie, you need to book an hour of your time on transfer deadline day to come and join me, Jim White, on transfer deadline day on Fulham Iron, yeah, for an hour.
Yeah. When you want to do it?
On transfer deadline day on the 31st.
Oh, on the deadline. I forgot. It's a little longer this year. They don't end at the season or when the season starts. We get a little extra time.
Yeah, you can come and join me for an hour. We'll talk about the schedule of the day.
Hopefully we get something done. I'm gonna lose my nut. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm trying to have patience, but I'm losing my nut, man. I'm telling you. What do we got? Nothing done.
I don't think you're the only one, Charlie.
Season, I've been patient. Usually, I've already lost my thing, lost my cool. But the season starts in a few days and nothing. We can't even get a cheap one over. You know what I mean? Like,
don't.
I know.
You're just depressing yourself, Charlie. Don't think about it. Honestly, it's just one of those where you're probably best just to sort of shrug your shoulders, wait until the transfer window's shut, and then just go, do you know what? It is what it is. We can't affect it. So there you go. Anyway, before we wrap it up, and obviously this is tied in with the transfer deadline day, isn't it, Milesy? This particular banner on the screen, because obviously when Milesy does the stream, and as I say, I'll be working that day, but I will jump in at sort of convenient points where I can. But please, guys, please support this particular endeavour that Milesy's doing on transfer deadline day, because this is what it's supporting. We're going to try and get as many people watching as we can, and all we ask you to do is a very, very minimum. And this banner, the details on this banner are always on the description below the stream on both YouTube and on Facebook. So there's absolutely no reason for you not to be able to copy it and paste it and put it onto all of your social media platforms, and with a little note saying that this is for a 6-year-old girl that is battling neuroblastoma, which she can't get treatment for in the country in which she lives, i.e. the UK. So her family have got to do whatever they can to take her across the world, wherever it may be, the United States, Barcelona, wherever, and get the treatment to hopefully save her life, touch wood. Guys, so that's all we need you to do, is to just get the awareness out there, get the momentum going. As an added bonus, if you can put any money into the pot, there is a Just Giving link there. If you can put anything in there from £1 upwards, we thank you very much indeed from the bottom of our heart. And
what we're going to do is, Gatesy, we're going to create like a banner, and I think you can even go that far ahead. We're going to even put the schedule into YouTube, and if you want to DM me on Twitter or Forge Talk, if you want to come on that day and sit with me for an hour, even if it's half an hour, and just put your times in what you can do, and I'll try and spread everyone out and work around you as well, because I'll be here for the whole day. So if anyone interested in coming on to speak for me for a certain time, just drop us a DM. That'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I wrap it up, I'm just going to real quick go through the last little comments on the chat. Maybe it's the last one tomorrow night. First weekend. Yeah, fair enough, Father Snowman. Not a problem. Would I take Wood Prowse? I would. You boys?
I would.
Yeah, absolutely. How are West Ham going to deal with the league and Europa League? Time will tell, Karoom. Time will tell. Hang on. Oh, that always happens to me. I go to press a comment and then it jumps up. Right, hang on. Peter Jones, in the Italian media, €1 million for the agent's fee, not £5 million as Sullivan's lackeys put it. Well, like I say, I can't really say an awful lot. Cyber leader Mitrovic, yeah, we discussed him. Nathan, glad you could make it. It's we're just about to wrap it up, sadly, but you can always that's the beauty of YouTube. You can go back to the beginning and watch it at your own
And,
leisure. Yes to both, says Fo. And Karoom, thank you very much indeed. You know, for your prayers, we really do appreciate it.
And
Milesy?
we're leaving now, but I know West Ham Random have just gone live. So if you don't,
Oh
we
yeah,
love Peach as well. So
I've been summoned by the Peach Meister as well.
Oh, have you?
I may
I'm-
come and I may come and join you. I don't know yet. I've got
I've got to be up. I've got to be
Gates,
up
you don't
early,
never
as you know,
sleep, bro.
Milesy.
You need some rest, my guy.
No, I do, and I've got to be up early in the morning because we have got an awful lot of driving to do. An awful lot of driving, but it'll be worth it when I get there because I'll then be on holiday for a week and the scenery will be beautiful. Beautiful. I'd move there in a heartbeat. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much indeed to everyone that's participated. Thanks to Milesy, thanks to Jazz, thanks to Duke, thanks to Charlie. More importantly than all of that, as usual, thank you to you guys. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when we upload it to the channel. And Milesy, what have you got to tell them?
Charlie, do you want to do it as well?
Yeah,
You know what I say?
yeah.
What are we?
We are fucking massive.
Yeah, love it, Charlie.
Good boys. And from me, you're going to get come on, you irons.
Love you, guys.
Take
Stay
care,
safe,
everyone.
everyone.